Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a bit of a late night chat. Late night for me, certainly, because it's nearly into tomorrow.
Yeah,
half past 11 here, but it's only about half past 5.
Yep, it's 25 after. It's
Yep.
just a little past dinner time.
Yep. So thank you, Linda, for joining us. And you've got some good news. I see on your channel. You've got your own channel. Obviously, I've mentioned it quite a bit, particularly the fact that you've got the full version of
Murder in a Park.
Murder in the Park.
Yep.
And that's very, very interesting.
But
you've recently reached a particular landmark. You've only been at this YouTubing now for 6 months, but you've reached a certain landmark. What was that?
500. Yeah.
500 subs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Well, yeah. If just in case Ken Kratz is listening, 500 subs. Don't get too excited, Ken. It doesn't mean 500 submissives. It means 500 subscribers.
I don't work like he does.
I don't think anybody works like he does.
No. Oh, I might have twisted a couple people to be submissive into pushing that button and subscribing, but they're really friends or family. But yeah, I'm at 500.
Yeah. And you were one of the original members of the Cozy Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
That started off on Hangouts, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then it moved on to the Discord channel. Yeah. And it's still going strong. It's still the great way of every time I get a notification that there's a new video, it also warns. Maybe that's not the right word. It alerts us to the fact that there's either a Eric Cozy video or even Reddit post or even an Eric Cozy on Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yeah. So now then, I think that's covered everything in terms of background. But well, first of all, you're the one that really made a huge difference for me in that you put that video of a murder in the park. When did you first come across that particular documentary?
I watched it on Netflix. And I watched it actually like 3 times before I really understood what was going on with it. Yep. Not that but I really wanted to understand it. And then when I seen that I could put it on my channel, I was like, boom, because I know a lot of places don't get to see the things that I put up. And that's mainly why I upload so many of like serial killers and stuff, because a lot of parts of the world that I communicate with don't get to see them things. So that's mainly why I put them up. But Murder in the Park was like that, Making a Murderer, The Staircase, Innocent Man. Them are like my favorite documentaries actually so far. So $50 million bullet might be there.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was alerted to Murder in the Park by the wonderful Kenneth R. Kratz when he did he was doing a blog or something, and he was talking about this Murder in the Park, and I thought I must try and get hold of it. And although you can get information about it, and it was apparently on Netflix. It's Netflix, yes, in America, but not Netflix in the UK.
Yeah, see, I get things you can't. So
Exactly. But I must admit the other thing that you've got there that absolutely blew me away was the lecture by David Rudolph.
Oh yeah, I really like him.
where if you go to it's the 30-minute mark, and he shows you that clip of him tearing that Sami Shabani to shreds. And it's so funny, and you must go and watch it because It's absolutely hilarious. He's talking about this so-called expert in and this Sami Shabani, I believe, was one of the experts in the staircase. In the trial of Peterson, alongside Dwayne Deaver.
Yeah.
And this Sami Shabani, they go through one of his previous experiments, and that's all I'm going to say. It's absolutely, absolutely.
He busts them open.
I actually got in touch with David Rudolph and asked him, because he played that clip in Melbourne, and I said to him, that other expert that you had clips of that did the strange experiments with the people. Where is that? Well, first of all, what was the name of the fellow? He came back straight away, Sami Shabani. I said, well, I can't find footage of it anywhere. And he said, no, it never made it into the staircase. And it makes you wonder, why not put that in the original staircase documentary? It looks pretty damning. Brilliant.
Exactly.
What I particularly like is whilst he's doing that, if you watch Michael Peterson, he has to try and keep a straight face because he's sat right next door to David Rudolph. Oh. But you see the people behind, the look on the one daughter's face, Oh, geez.
I wish I would be able to could see him live like you guys did. I really, really admire him. You know what I mean? He, when I watched The Staircase, he put so much of himself into that case that he literally had to take a break. I mean, it was mentally and physically draining to this man. And see, that's what I really like is the personal. How does it affect the person? That's really what I'm into. That's what I try to find out about. How did this affect that person, and what can we do to help that person if this thing happens again? So that's why I liked him a lot. That really, really brought me to I want to know a lot about this guy, because he really gets personal and takes it to heart. So Kathleen Zellner, I believe, is the same way. I mean, maybe not so much as the stress part like he did, but she believes in her clients. And I mean, that is something that is very admirable to me. You know what I mean? There's not too many dang lawyers out there that have good ethics or a moral compass whatsoever. So, to see that, it's very impressive. And I would imagine that Kathleen Zellner, I've uploaded some of her things, like the Idler. The Idler guy that
yeah.
I've got some of them on there where her news clips about him and her, and she never wants to do that again. And you can really see it when you look at her walking with that guy. She looks like, I don't want to be here. This guy's evil, and then you see her standing next to Ryan Ferguson, or some of the other ones, or standing in court for Melissa. I mean, she is a fighter and she believes in her clients. And to me, that's very admirable. I really.
Yeah. One of the things that David Rudolph often talks about is the fact that he was already, before the Mike Peterson case, he was already a well-known attorney, defense attorney, with the firm that he was with. But he himself says that he used to be a bit of a sort of conceited, full of himself. And he talks about the fact that by losing that case, it changed him.
It humbled him.
It humbled him, yeah. And when I got the huge pleasure. I actually got, when I went to Amsterdam, Jerry Butin had got loads of books for sale, and literally the whole of the audience, the whole of the Dutch audience bought his book. He would have sold 100 times more books in one night than Ken Kratz has ever done in the whole of his publishing career, but of course, the beauty of that was that whilst Jerry Butin was busy signing books, selling books, signing books, when David Rudolph came along, I had about 30 minutes chat with him and the guy that was doing the interviewing, which was the guy, the Dutch fella, and he was actually a prosecutor. but
Oh,
a really
wow.
nice fella. Yeah, really nice fella. Because obviously over there in Holland,
Mhm.
they have a slightly different attitude towards justice.
Yeah.
They do believe in justice.
Mhm.
What they do over there in certain parts of Wisconsin certainly has
Not
nothing to
cut
do
it.
with justice. The
Yeah.
other thing I was going to say was, and I think it's worth mentioning that Ken David Rudolph, Mike Peterson. David Rudolph had that really good detective, didn't he? What was his name?
Oh
Ron.
gosh, I don't even know. I can't even.
First
add
name
it.
of Ron,
Yeah.
you get to see in Making a Murder, you get to see this guy Kirby that works with
Yes. Yep.
you know,
Very familiar.
and then you get people like, God bless him, he's not with us anymore, Pete Bates, who works
Oh
with Dean
yeah.
and Jerry.
Mhm.
And don't these guys come across as really good guys because
Yep.
they really do know law enforcement inside and out because
Yep.
that's what they've done all their life.
Very
You know,
genuine. Very
yeah,
genuine. Exactly. And that's, like I said, that's something you don't see very often. You know what I mean? I mean, well, maybe because we're pointing out bad, that we don't see the good, but you don't hear about the good and you don't see it very often. So,
no.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, I believe the law enforcement does the best job it can. I have nothing against police officers or anything, but I think prosecutors and judges, anyone in that field, working for the state, really just tries to up themselves into a cushier chair, and something happens to them that they just lose their moral compass. They lose their ethics. They're like, I just want to convict so I rise above and get a better paycheck. At least that's what I think. That's my opinion. If they didn't get rewards for convictions and they would get rewards for truths, I mean, it would be a whole different story. You know what I mean? Being rewarded for a conviction is nothing I do not think they should be able to do.
Yeah, I think if we compare, for example, those three detectives that we've just mentioned, the Ron fellow, the James Kirby, Pete Bates. If we compare them with the detective in Murder in the Park,
or the prosecutor in the Central Park 5. Let's get, I mean, they have no.
Or what about the detectives in the Making a Murderer case? I think they go by the name of Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie, Fact Bender and Wiegert.
Yes.
Weigert. That's what I mean. They did it to better their careers. I mean, I'm a firm believer that everybody in Manitowoc just has a cushier chair waiting for their big fat butt and a nice big paycheck, and they don't care what happens. I see it in a lot of cases. If you look at Wisconsin and you look at those small towns, what's it called? Kenosha.
Yeah, Kenosha.
Kenosha and Neenah, Manitowoc, Green Bay. Well, Green Bay is kind of big, but there's several other towns in Wisconsin that I hear terrible things about. Yeah. And they're, the cops are dirty there, and I'm not saying that about all cops. I don't feel that all law enforcement is bad. I don't. But if you're not stopping what's bad, pretty soon it starts to fumigate everybody else, and they all look bad. It doesn't matter. Could have been one, but now all of them are bad. That's what the people are looking at, and they have to change some things to stop that in those small towns. The judges know everybody kind of thing, and that's really how it is too. I mean, I live out here, so I mean, I don't live in Wisconsin, but our sister state, and I keep crossing my fingers because Minnesota really has a good DOJ, a good, good justice system so far. I just say we're not polluted yet.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we know for a fact that in Chicago, in Illinois, they have these, they are called conviction integrity units, because we hear the prosecutor, David Malan, talking about them in the true story of a false confession, don't we? The presentation by Laura and Steve. Yeah. And that's the kind of prosecutor that you want, is somebody who wants to know the truth. even here in the UK, obviously I've done a little bit of research into the Jody Jones Luke Mitchell case, which is just 20 miles up the road.
Oh, really?
And speaking with a retired detective, he said, as a detective, you have no idea the pressure that detectives are under to get the case solved, and to put somebody behind bars.
Right.
And I think it's somebody called Darren Massey, and I can't remember what case this was. I saw him on one of the Netflix documentaries, and this guy he came out with a very interesting line. He's a detective, and what he said was this: to get a conviction, you need that the bar is set at 100%. Yeah. But to get an arrest, to arrest somebody, the bar is only 51%. But as soon as you've arrested somebody, the other 49% might as well not matter. Because
it don't matter at all.
Invariably, once somebody is arrested, they're then given the option. You can either say you're sorry for what you did, or you can say that you're not sorry for what you did.
Yes.
Either way, you're going to go down for it, and
right.
you might as well take the easier of two options.
Right. There is no innocent until guilty anymore. It's guilty until you prove yourself innocent, and that is a hell of a job to do. You know, and I guess it's I think it's Jerry Buting that says you can say you're never going to commit murder or anything, but you cannot say somebody will not accuse you of it. And good luck to yourself if that happens. And I see that. I can truly see that. I mean, I wish America would adopt some of the European justice beliefs. I truly mean that. I know everybody has their issues, but, you know, when you can look at the percentages of people in jail in other countries, and then you look at America, and it's bad. There are so many people in prison, and you know, the private prisons, I think, have a lot to do with it. They're getting paid. I mean, you know, Bob Barker, you know, Mr. Wheel, you know, Mr. Price is Right. Well, he owns all of everything that goes into a jail: the shoes, the TVs, the beauty bars, the everything, all that cheapy toothbrushes and all that stuff. He has the rights to all of that. Now, that shouldn't be allowed. I mean, I think the state should provide it. It shouldn't come. Nobody should profit off of somebody sitting in jail, especially when there's so many wrong convictions or over-sentenced, you know, cases. Because, I mean, look at the 500 and some odd people that just got let out for drug cases. And, you know, drug people can go to rehab. You know, you can't rehab a serial killer, okay? But, not that I know of anyway, but you can somebody on drugs, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think they're out serial killing because they're doing drugs, you know, maybe some, but not a big percentage, I'm sure. So if you could take some of that stuff and lower sentencing and change it, I mean, I don't know. I could twist up the justice system, I guess. I can go on all day.
Yeah. One of the interesting things that I find is and this was long before Making a Murderer. I ever noticed Making a Murderer. Yes, I'd watched and followed certain things over there in America. It always made me laugh when somebody got sentenced to something like, you know, you've been sentenced to 263 and a half years. It's like, what?
Yeah, what? 5 sentences of life.
What the hell does that mean? You know, nobody's going to live to 263 and a half. So why sentence them? You know,
right?
Why not?
But they did to Eileen Warner. You know, they gave her like 5 life sentences. You know, I mean, come on. You know, I mean, how many times? She says, "How many times you want to kill me?" It makes sense. You know.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is, because politically, crime is a big subject, isn't it? You know, politicians, they want to be seen to be doing something about it. They want to be seen to being tough on crime.
Right.
And I just wonder if things have got more and more draconian, the more that politicians have sort of gone behind this banner of, I'm the one that's tough on crime. I'm the one that's going to get rid of crime. it's actually been proven that the more you imprison people, you send somebody a first offender to prison, they're going to learn. They're going to like a finishing school with all the other inmates that are real criminals.
Just producing more. You're not giving, because it's really hard once you get out of prison, even if you want to change. It's hard for you to find a job. It's hard for you to find housing. You're sent out with what? I don't know, $10 a day. I have no idea. I've never been there. You know what I'm saying? But I have had friends who have been in prison for a year or two, for stupid, things like bag of marijuana, or, what I mean? And to me, that's just crazy. But they have them laws. And when they get out, and they have that offense on there, it's really hard for them to find something. So what are they going to do? They're going to go back to dealing that bag of weed, or they're going to go back to stealing that stuff to sell it, to do whatever. I mean, I don't condone it, but I can understand it. Do you know what I mean? If you've been in the system and you don't get any help, which they don't provide. And I think they should really put a lot of money towards that instead of giving it into somebody's pockets, put them in programs and not let somebody profit off of them. Let's try to rehabilitate our prisoners so we don't have so many of them.
Yeah. I mean, it might seem a bit odd that we're talking about sentencing of criminals that have actually done something, when in fact, obviously, what we're particularly interested is two guys that actually are innocent.
Yeah.
But you need the background of where's everybody coming from.
Right.
And we were talking, just a few minutes ago about the convict at all cost. And
right.
I don't know if you heard me mention about the fact I got an email from Jerry Buting, because I was asking, why was it that Judge Willis seemed to bend over backwards to accommodate everything that the state wanted, everything that Ken Kratz wanted, and he simply pointed out, well, it's just the fact that you've got these these judges that want to be re-elected, so they give the prosecutors leeway. The prosecutors then give the investigators leeway, and before you know it, you've got an absolute shambles, which is the conviction of Stephen Brendan.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, to me, 1 day in prison, not justifiable, is way too long. That's 24 hours. I can't imagine 24 years. I can't imagine 36 years or 32 or whatever Stephen is in. I mean, he is a historical case. Everybody calls us documentary. We let documentary make our mind up as far as what a guilty or innocent person is. I'm sorry, but all it did was make me want to know what the heck went on. I want to know. And when I found out you could read transcripts and find out about the evidence and all this other stuff, and now we got these calls, which shout out to Millbilly. I'm telling you, I learn a lot from them calls. You can hear with their own voice about things that are going on at that time. There's nothing more telling than the truth. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lie has got to be dug out and figured out and all this and that. And truth is easy. Why can't they just go to trial? Because if they think they got such a strong case, hey, it should be easy to prove again, right? I mean, it should go even faster. If you know what I'm saying, because they're not going to listen to all that crap you put out last time. You don't have to say, I'm not going to spend 60 seconds or 30 seconds on them bones. You just got to say, look, this is what it is. Here's our evidence. It should be easy. 1 day, they're convicted again. That's not the case here. Mm-hmm. It's because we all have dug in, because he does have a good lawyer. They thought he'd be swept under the rug. Just a small town guy, never going to be paid attention to. He's making history. I mean, he's, as far as I know, the first person ever to be wrongly fully convicted twice, and Brendan, well, that's just absurd to even talk about Brendan. He should be out. And I pray that he gets some kind of, relief, if not through clemency and they make an exception, they re-sentence him and let him out.
Well, I must admit, I did somewhat tongue in cheek during one of my conversations with Sheriff Herman say that, actually locking Brendan up has actually caused him to get his high school diploma, because you remember not long after Making a Murderer came out, he got his high school diploma.
Yeah.
And I said to him, and I said, I have to congratulate you on this new initiative. You know, taking kids that haven't got their high school diploma, lock them up, make them get their diploma. You know, are you going to extend that across Manitowoc? And he wouldn't take the bait. But you know, I said, surely by now you can let Brendan out, because all he did was he told a load. Well, he didn't even tell a load of rubbish. He just said yes and no to questions that were given to him and facts that were fed to him that he.
And I don't know.
You know, so yeah, you know, convict him for wasting police time.
Exactly.
But that's all he's ever done.
You know, I never understood why Kayla, which I'm sure is a great kid or woman now, but why was her, you know, statements like just thrown out? You know, like they accepted her sitting on the stand saying, I lied. I don't know. I lied. And Brendan's doing the same thing and they're not listening. What is the matter with that? That has always bothered me, you know? I mean, they had to, you know, unfortunately, I don't want to even use the words of Kratz, but he was the, you know, the sacrificial lamb. He was their you know, he was, let's just make it sure that Steve goes in there. But yet there was 2 trials, 2 different things. Timelines aren't, I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't even see how anybody with a brain, let alone a lawyer, a judge, you know, Supreme Courts, don't see the wrong in this. If I don't know how many of us are seeing it, you know, for what it is, but they don't. I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's interestingly, you know how I've been going through all that stuff on the Convoluted Brian site?
Yeah.
There's one very interesting thing that I have come across, which I've shared with the dude, and that is that just before they pick on Brendan, you remember that they were picking on Jody?
Yeah.
And apparently what they were trying to do was trying to get her to say that that Steve had been really abusive to her, had kicked her, and all this kind of stuff. And of course, Jody says, "I don't want anything to do with you, investigators."
Right.
And what transpires is that she actually had this legal representative that told the detective, you know, Wiegert and Fassbender, you know, she doesn't want anything to do with you. Kratz immediately starts sending emails demanding of this attorney, what right have you got to deny Jody speaking to the detectives? Yeah, it's very interesting when you look at it, you know. And it was just a case that Brendan was the next person they could pick on.
Right. The next one down in line. And, you know, it's to me, it's really amazing how much the prosecuting attorney was like on scene or involved with emails and things that really, I mean, he has cronies to do that for him. Why is he taking it upon himself to do that? You know what I mean? There's like, to me, there's like very, very telling things. The one is Mr. Pencil when he says, I don't doubt that that's their DNA, but where did it come from? Boom. That right there tells me something. Kratz saying, well, if he's going to change the narrative, then I think we could investigate that. But, you know, Mr. Beauty's trying to change that, you know, that part. And there was one other, I just lost my train of thought, but them are very telling on their part. Oh, the email with the find, you know, place a Teresa in the garage. That's like you could see Brendan getting coerced. You could see the others being the same way. You know, I just think it's whatever their reasons for making Stephen. And I don't know if it was the suit. I don't know if it was the suit or if it was because he just made them look bad before because they were so, you know, steadfast and believing he was, you know, with the Penny Bernstein case that he was the one, you know, maybe, I don't know, but it seems like it's a pretty bad and very deep resentment towards Stephen Avery to do this, you know, and to be able to live with yourself doing it, knowing that it's very peculiar. circumstances all the way around. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how they could live with it for so long.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, we often get this. When I was doing this business of Ken Kratz, he said, "I'll tell you what. I'll give you one question." And you remember I put out to everybody what would the one question. The one question that came back: how do you sleep at night? And I know perfectly well that Ken Kratz is going to say, he sleeps perfectly well at night in a bed. And the fact that in his book, he says, I lose no sleep.
Yeah.
About the prosecution of Brendan Dassey.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting onto happier things.
Hi, Crockett.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to Crockett because he don't ever make a live seeing me. So hi, Crockett.
Yeah. And can I just say I agree with everything that Ron Griffin is saying, particularly the business of the elected officials. It makes corruption so much easier. But back in June, you're from Minnesota, is that right?
Yeah. Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah. You've got a football team there called the Vikings.
Yeah. Then I went to Skull. I don't really care for them. We've been to the Super Bowl more than any team in the world, but we've never won it. So it's a little embarrassing. But yes.
Anyway. So back in June, you traveled to Manitowoc.
Yep. And
what was that for?
That was for the Justice Rally, and I had a great time. Well, I got to meet you and Eric Cozy and Denise and Allie and a lot of people. I mean, a lot of really wonderful people. Your beautiful wife, who I just love, and I had a great time. I mean, I was really nervous, but I had a great time, and I feel really good about standing up for this and going there. Yeah. You get to see a little how crazy people are too.
Yeah, you brought a friend along with you, didn't you?
Yep, my best friend in the whole world, Wanda. We've been friends for like 34 years. I mean, everybody's just got a kick out of her. She's a tiny girl, but she's got a lot of power. Yeah.
What she lacks in stature, she makes up for in character.
She's great.
Yeah. No, we had a great laugh, and we had a great party on Saturday night because although we're there because obviously there's the serious matter of raising as much noise, if you like, about Stephen Brendan, but also just coming together.
Supporters. Yeah, supporting supporters.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah. And it was a great turnout in the was it the Bayview Hotel?
The Baymont.
Yeah. That was really good with everything going on there. I thought that was great.
I got to meet everybody. It was great. It's really nice to see people that you talk to or see on YouTube or, whatever. I mean, actually, Paul, you're much more funnier in person. You're funny on here, but you're funny in life. You and your wife are you guys were like a highlight of mine and Wanda's fun. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but it's really great to see where it was, be standing in the ground of Stephen Avery, looking at where the burn pit was. It's all so surreal. Just like, when I went to Nina and I seen how close everything was and it looked so far away on TV, but, and where Brendan walked home from school. I mean, that's a long walk. It's hard to see that far away. I mean, there's a lot of things that really help put everything into perspective when you see it with your own eyes. And meeting with supporters is meeting your own kind or people that have the same passion for you, for what you do. There's nothing better than that. Yeah.
I mean, hi, Stacey. Yeah. I mean, the party afterwards. I mean, how many parties did we have? So we had the rally, which was at 11 o'clock?
Yeah. 11 to 3 or something.
3 o'clock. Yeah. 3 o'clock. And then we all went off to the yard.
Yeah. Yep. Then, yeah.
I had the great pleasure of taking Rick Marler with me.
Oh, yeah. The juror.
So yeah, we had a good chat.
I just figured out he was the musical juror. They say the musician. There's one musician and there's one, and he was the one. And I never put the two together, but yeah, he was.
Yeah. International recording artist.
Yeah, international recording artist.
Yeah, let's give him credit because yeah. But no, yeah. Rick's a really nice guy, and then we came back to the Baymont.
Yep.
We had obviously Stacey was there, and then
the Hard.
Yeah, the Hard was there. That's right. The dude showed up eventually. I don't know where he went.
Mystical Jinx, Barb,
yeah,
Sandra.
Yep. And then I never got a chance to speak to him.
I did. I met him.
Yeah. I find that very, very odd. But anyway, then we went back to the house, didn't we? Did you come back with me then? Or you came back with me earlier, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. Yes.
We picked up something or something, and then we went back.
Yeah. I can't remember what time we arrived back, but I'd gone and got this big can of beer. It was like a huge can of beer, really strong beer. I got two of them, put them in the fridge and finished off them. What else? There was already beer in the fridge anyway.
Jello shots were gone.
Yeah, well, I never actually had any of your Jello shots. Oh. I think the dude finished them lot off.
Yeah, they were gone.
Yeah. Then it was Fireball. Is it called Fireball?
Yeah, Fireball.
Cinnamon drink.
And the Jim Beam apple. You were drinking that. And then it was dance lessons with Paul Capaldi. Yeah. It was. And I'm a party pooper because I went to bed way before you guys did. But I was there long enough to watch Allie get her lessons. And you try to get Eric Cozy to get up there and do it. And Denise. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we just let loose and had a great time.
Yeah. It's as far as trying to get Eric Cozy to that. There's an old saying. Never try and teach a pig to sing.
He's a big guy.
It's impossible to do, and it only annoys the pig.
He is such a big guy. It's like, I'm not disrespecting him. I don't mean Sasquatch is a bad thing. I'm just trying to say that's how big he is. So when you look at him, you don't think of him being very graceful dancing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, moving a wall. Sure. Holding up a house for you. Yeah, no problem. But stopping a crowd. Not a problem. You know what I mean? Picking up a drunk and putting a drunk outside. He's got that down, but tiptoeing through the tulips is not his thing. He's not, I don't think he's going to do that, but yeah, he was a good sport with it, but you were you were dance lessons all night long. And some of the music you were playing was like, okay. I don't think he was liking some of it, but hey, we tolerated it. It was fun. We had a great time. I wish I could have got that accordion for you so you could have played because I really tried to get one for you, but
Rick Marlowe also tried to as well. And even Charlie Berens was trying to get us a box. So maybe next time. In the morning, I actually got up, although it was 4:30 before I got to bed Sunday morning. I got up in time for the dude and I to go across to Nina where I think you'd already been. Yep.
I was there. I went there first.
And are you planning on going back to Nina fairly soon? Yeah. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
I'm going next week. I'll be leaving the 15th and I'll be gone through till the 19th. But I'm going to stop in Manitowoc and Two Rivers and visit some friends there, Carla and a few people. And then Sandy lives in Nina, so I'm going to see her. And I'm going back. I'm going back to Eagle Nation because they are having a press release party for a new docu-series or docudrama. Not sure which one it is yet. on the Michael Funk case. And I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I got a passion for this, and David Starr from Tickled Films is going to do it. And Kay is, a friend, and Steve Arados is going to be there. They're going to play themselves and get to meet some of the actors and see some back, behind the scenes things. And I'll get a couple of interviews and upload them so y'all can look forward to that. And it's called $50 Million Bullet. And I think that's a great name, and it's very familiar. Let's put it that way. That case in Manitowoc, the case in Neenah, pretty close. You know what I'm saying? Except for Michael Funk lost his life, Yep, so,
yep.
And to me, I think you put it that way. It's an execution. And I believe that's exactly what happened. There was no warning shot. There was no nothing. Just bam. Yeah, it's very sad. And when you see how close it is, wasn't it very surprising to you how close, and in space-wise, the corner was, the door, and where he was going to? It was just so close. I mean, he was just steps away from being home. It's sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
Somebody asked in the comments if we got to meet Charlie Bones. No, we didn't, because he was not there, but not to worry. I'll catch up with him sometime.
I did see his famous cow though from Wisconsin. The big cow there in Manitowoc. We did take a picture of that. We tried to get Wanda up on top, but she wouldn't go.
You don't want to go climbing Bernice because you'll get in trouble with the police.
Yeah, Bernice and the police. Yeah.
That's one of Charlie Berens' line.
We did see Sputnik. The Sputnik. Yeah, we went and seen that in the middle of the street. They thought that was a golf course lawnmower that blew up. That's what Manitowoc cops thought. It was paper. It was funny. Wisconsin's a different kind of place.
I must admit, we went to Two Rivers, and we went there a couple of times, and we thoroughly enjoyed the place.
I love it.
Really
I think
good.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to take some time to see the submarine.
We were going to do that. We were going to do so many things that we never got into. It was, but it's a good excuse to go back again there sometime.
Yeah. Then you can stop at Minnesota and see Minnesota. It's just like Wisconsin. It's not no different, really.
Now, here's an interesting thing that I didn't realize, and that is that the Eagle Nation cycles got raided by the police in an absolute show of strength, armored vehicles, etc., etc. And that was in 2012.
12?
And the result, 2012 was when the raid was. Yeah.
No, I thought it was 15. That's okay. Go ahead.
No, Michael Funk was shot dead at the end of 2015.
Right. Okay, that's what I got going.
Yeah. But the actual raid that the original raid that they were looking for drugs, they thought that they were going to go in to Eagle Nation Cycle, find plants and plants and plants of marijuana being grown, so that they could then, in effect sort of take the whole building, chuck everybody out, seize the building, knock it down, and build more high-rise offices.
Beautiful buildings, yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing: they then filed this $50 million suit. Do you know who the judge that looked at that case was?
Oh, don't tell me it was Willis.
No.
Kaczynski.
No, it was Michael Griesbach's brother, William Griesbach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and do you know who the judge that looked at Stephen Avery's civil suit was?
The same one.
Yeah.
That's kind of a coincidence.
It is. I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It's one of those other things that connects the two cases. You see the same players and the same. You see parallels. You see.
Well, Hoffer shouldn't have been there. He was on leave. So
well, when you see the mark on his head where he got hit by the bullet,
it's bad.
In the initial press report that the Neenah police gave out about this, they say that one of their officers was shot and went to hospital, and they miss out all the fact that then he stayed and shot Michael Funk dead without any warning whatsoever. Now, for me, regardless of whether Michael Funk was a hostage or a hostage taker,
still needs to be warned.
He had a gun, yes, but it was pointed downwards. He wasn't looking to use it. And he hides behind the car, and all the police need to do was say, freeze, stop, drop the gun.
Yeah. Hey, anything. And you know what? That guy would have went down on his hands and knees and arms stretched out. I'm sure to this day, I could say that with all confidence, that man would have dropped. Put that gun, you know what I mean? He thought the cops were going to protect him. He didn't know where they were, because minutes before that, they bust in and shooting goes on, which is their shooting, and one gunman with a handgun, all over the place, and then back out. Since when does that happen when you have shields and guns and many numbers, and this is a one person here, and you bust in and then shooting goes on and then you come out without, seizing the moment and getting that person away from these hostages or doing what you're supposed to do as a SWAT team? I mean, busting in the back door, busting in the front door, same time, I would think, most, things like that happen that way. So I found that very strange. I found that very strange that they were in and then backed out of the same door. And that's apparently when that police officer got hit in the head. And if you look at it, his whole face is bruised and everything. So you can't tell me that you're not thinking correctly when you're, you got smacked in right here in your head, close to your temple. It was like right above his eye there. And this whole eye and everything was black and blue. And he was, oh, we got him. I mean, his commanding officer says, oh, thank God you didn't kill anybody or shoot anybody. He goes, oh, I killed him. I mean, the guy has happy. He was convinced that one guy was going to kill all them cops, that it was a setup to the cops. I don't know. I don't know what to think about the case. I just know that I think there should have been something done with the police over excessive, to me, it was an overkill, and something should have happened.
Yeah, I might be wrong about this, but for me, one of the parallels between, Stephen and Brendan at the salvage yard, these bikers at Eagle Nation Cycle, I think law enforcement looked down.
Yeah, they did.
On these people, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if when they knew that there was a hostage situation at Eagle Nation Cycle, okay, we'll send the heavy guys in with the guns, and if you end up shooting people, whether it's the hostages or the hostage taker, it won't really matter.
Yeah, we'll get the building then, because it's been a nuisance to the neighborhood. I mean, they can do that. You can lose your residence for having the police been there too many times, or certain things happen there. So who knows? They could have been thinking that, because if you look around, a lot of new buildings there, and Eagle Nation is kind of shrunk down because they got this big parking lot in the back that don't belong to them, and another building right next door to them, and they're kind of getting squished. And on my channel, I also have a news thing that says that the building was going to be taken. The mayor said they were going to take, I can't remember the name. I wish what they terminology of it, but is where the state just takes over your building.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's
no,
just
I think this hopefully this $50 million bullet. I believe it's going to be an hour and about 50 minutes film.
Yeah, and he's kind of changing his mind a little too. So, aren't you going to interview him soon? Because then you'll get skivvy on it. You'll get the skivvy. Yeah, because me and Eric Cozy got it at hour and 50 some minutes, and right at the end of my interview with him, he was talking about, well, we might be a docu-series.
Yeah.
So it might be 45 minutes each. I don't know how many he's going to go, but I'm glad somebody's putting it out there. He seems like let's horn on horn here, buddy. Let's get it done. He offers them come on to tell your truth. Let's see what they do. I hope the LE does do something. Come there and speak. Retired or somebody. Yeah.
Well. Yeah. The what was very interesting for me was that the fact that the Post-Crescent, that journalist that did the most recent article.
Oh yeah,
he's been on that case now. You've got Post-Crescent articles about it going back a long time. 5 or 6 years. In fact, I think as far as the drugs raid, I think it's been the same journalist that's been covering the case. But what was interesting was he mentioned that the guy Aaron Olson, the chief of police, had watched a YouTube channel, and
I seen that
YouTube video, which of course is the one that Eric Cozy did. So I rather mischievously, I must admit, I sent an email to Aaron Olson and suggested that well, if you're going to watch Eric Cozy videos, could you subscribe?
Really. Hit the thumbs up too, buddy, and share.
Yeah. Give him. Push the subscribe button, hit the like button.
Exactly. You should. Yes, you should. I hear you. But I read the same article, and he's doesn't look like he's going to be too voluntary to be on that, So we'll see what happens. I hope he does put out a very fair. Like I said to him, there's nothing you can do legally anymore for Michael. Just to get his truth out. And to show what kind of injustice does happen,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, getting back to Eric Cozy, it got to the stage where if me and Mark were on his video, we would take it in turn at the end to say, and if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe. We used to get that in before the team did.
Yeah. I was noticing that. You guys are funny. You're like, oh, and because Mark said one time, didn't he say, oh, hey, can I say something? Yeah. Hey, folks, if you haven't already, hit the button below. I started laughing. I thought, yep. Because he does. Well, you can notice him. He's kind of got a pattern. He comes in, he goes, okay, folks, what we're going to talk about tonight is, and then he goes on. And then at the end where he says, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. So, yeah. That's cool. He's kind of our mentor. Oh,
the thing is that Eric Cozy, I've known him now. It didn't take me long to put 2 and 2 together. Obviously, in Facebook, he goes by his real name, and obviously on YouTube, he goes by his YouTube name. It didn't take me long to realize, so this is the Eric Cozy fellow. So I got in touch with him, and eventually we had a couple of chats actually, through Facebook Messenger. We had a few quite lengthy chats about stuff. And in the end, we got to sort of doing video chats together through Skype.
Yeah.
And
were you on the Hangouts? Did you do the Hangouts when we had the
code? Oh, yes.
Yeah, that we were like six originals, and then it started growing and growing and growing, and then that's where Discord came in.
Yeah, I remember when you used to get the main screen, and everybody that took over the main screen, their face went on it, and everybody else was lined up underneath there. It's like
exactly.
People
waiting.
There,
yeah, exactly.
I remember once doing one of those chats with Falcon.
I never got to be on one with Falcon. My first chat was with Travis, actually.
Oh, right, yeah.
I had legal questions I wanted, and boy, I think I got one question in that night. No offense. offense, Travis. You know I love you. I mean, I really do. You're the first person I ever talked to on that thing, you know. So, but he has a very lengthy way of explaining things.
Yeah. But one of the interesting things about Eric Jose is that he's very, very cautious.
Yeah.
About, for example, coming out with something that
It's questionable.
Questionable, yeah. He's not on a lot of things. He's not over opinionated. He just presents the facts,
right?
And I find that when it comes to making a murderer, I think what drew me to him was stuff, quality videos like the Xander Road videos I particularly enjoyed, and lots of others, as you can say, going through the documents, going through all that stuff. So my final question, it would be, for somebody that's so smart when it comes to making a murderer, how can he be so thick and dim-witted over Captain Crunch?
You know, it beats me. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get where he just doesn't get it.
I mean, right. For the definitive answer, what nationality is Captain Crunch?
French Californian.
Yeah. It's not difficult, is it? And where does Captain Crunch live?
At Crunch Island.
At the moment, he's taken residence on the couch behind Eric Jose.
I was just gonna say he's hiding in Cozy Studios.
Yeah,
he's one for serial killing. So you seen him hanging there, didn't you? I don't know if that's his punishment, you know, where Eric Cozy's got him back there, but he better really hide him because the feds will be knocking on the door anytime soon. You never know. Be wanted for drinking up the milk in Milk Ocean or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I used to joke with him all the time about it. And we have, you know, General Mills here, and that's a big cereal company. So, I mean, I could find out. You can Google Captain Crunch and find out, oh my gosh, there's a whole story on him. Big story. So I started sending stuff to him, but he just still doesn't get it. Maybe.
Well, do you remember when we had a vote?
Yeah.
And I won by one vote.
Yeah.
And what I did was I knew that the vote was going to be finished my time, 8:00 on Monday evening.
So you voted last.
No. What I did was I went and saw my last pupil. I went and saw her, and I said to her, have you ever been to America? She said, yeah, I've been to America. Have you ever tasted Captain Crunch? Yeah, I've had Captain Crunch. I said, well, you know the character Captain Crunch? Is he American or British? He's British. How on earth could he be British? You know, if given a choice of American or British, he's American.
British.
So she voted at 5-8, and that one vote. Yeah. And do you know what, Eric Jose? One vote, it might as well be 101 votes. It might be 1,001 votes, because I won and you lost.
And you lost. And you're never going to live that down, Eric Cozy. Believe that. You'll never live it down. Not unless you get a new poll and you win. But I kind of doubt it. You can't go reverse into things. That only works in Kratz world. It doesn't work in the real world. You know? But yeah, I love the banter between you guys. And we were talking about Eric Cozy and the YouTube quality and stuff. And that's what draws me to him. I mean, I watched a lot of other people before I was able to even engage, you know, or get involved in it at all. But he's like Fresh Start Monday says, black belt of MAM. Mm-hmm. He really is. And I admire him very much. And I admire you, and I admire everybody who puts themselves out there and lets things be known. All that sexting stuff you're doing with Ken Kratz, it might not be irrelevant as far as getting Stephen a new trial, but it does go to show you the true character of that guy and his lack of moral compass and ethics. And I think that's important. Yeah. Especially if you're in that kind of a job. you know. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the people that don't even get up on here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when it comes to the Ken Kratz stuff, even the guilters themselves, they realise that Ken Kratz is seriously flawed.
Yeah.
And I don't get any guilters coming up and saying, you shouldn't pick on him, and you should just leave him alone. He is an embarrassment. He is to quote a well-known musician, he is a legal stain.
Yes, he is very much a legal stain. And it's, you don't do it in a damning way or with curse words or anything like that. You just simply put out the facts. And yeah, there's a couple of little shady words in there, but it's said with class. So you're not even being rude. I don't think you're being rude when I listen to you. Even though I agree totally what you're saying, it's not a biased opinion. I don't think you're being rude when you're saying these things. I think you're just putting out the facts, and your opinion just happens to be at the end what you think. And it's never not what anybody else isn't thinking. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I think it's great. I really do think it's great that you put that out there. We all need to know. I like to know, just like I like to know the conversations, the dispatch things. You hear them talking in their own words about events that are going on. I want to know what makes that person tick. That's the way I am. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Eric Cozy now. He heard us talking about him.
Something must have been irritating him, and he realised there was that we were talking about him. We were talking about you, though, dude, not to you.
Yeah.
So,
we were telling you better hide your Captain Crutch that's hiding out at your place there. You're knocking on the door soon for him.
Yeah. But no, I hope you enjoy your time in Nina, and please give my best to Wanda.
Yeah,
and also, and I think when you're there at Nina, do you get to meet David Starr, Dan Davis?
Oh yeah, I get all backstage and all that. I get to meet everything and get some exclusive stuff done. So got to get my GoPro, and I wish I could go live, but I don't think I'm going to get 400 and some odd subscribers that quick, So it doesn't matter. But I'll definitely be uploading the same nights and days. So I'll keep you guys all informed. I'll be sending Eric Cozy some things, that he'll have exclusive on his channel too. So, I hope to get the word out there. I can't wait to meet these guys. And of course, I met Kay and Steve already, and they're wonderful people. And I get to go to Manitowoc again and see some people. So I'm kind of win-win situation here for me. Really looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on your channel. I appreciate it very much.
Very welcome. It's nice to have you on. It's always certainly from Eric Cozy's and mine point of view. What I particularly like is seeing all these people, such as yourself and the others, starting to do YouTube videos. Because you don't have to have a huge amount of technology. I mean, you could literally. I mean, all my videos I do on my little iPhone.
Yeah,
and that's all I ever need is just that. And it works a treat. In fact, the camera in that is better than this laptop that I'm using at the moment.
Yeah, I find that a lot too. I just got a new phone, so I don't know how it's going to work, but I do plan on getting the GoPro because I can just stick on my dog and we can make videos. It's got a remote, so you can go GoPro off. It'll go off. Just some cute pictures, and I guess it's just what I've heard most people like to use for doing videos. So it's a handy dandy little thing, and it's on sale real cheaper. So I'm going to have to pick that up. If it's on sale, I'm going to get it. So anyway, so hopefully I'll be bringing some good stuff from there. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop it there because we've done just over an hour, and so it feels like we're getting in training for the next Mammothon.
Yeah, maybe I'll be involved.
Definitely, because the more video YouTubers there are, the better, because then it just makes it easier to run everything together. I mean, what was it? Ali did like a 5-hour stint One of the stints she does was what, 5 hours. You know,
started the whole idea. She started. Tracy said, "Hey, let's have this." After she's seen Allie and me and Denise on for like 24-hour period. You know, I miss that. We're gonna have to get back to that. But I love meeting all you guys, and I love having people feel this much passion and see everybody doing their thing. And I guess we can thank a little bit of Eric Cozy for that, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing about the StreamYard, you can have, I believe, up to 6 guests, can't you? Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it'll be it seems to be working even better than Hangouts did.
I love it. And when I showed it to Eric Cozy, he was like, "That's it." And I said, "That's it." That's simple. It is a lot simpler, I think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly what I did then was for this one was I actually sent the link with the email to myself. I then copied that link and then sent it to you. But you said you did it through your email anyway.
Don't you know that at the bottom of the screen where it says the mic, the camera, and all that, it says plus invite somebody?
Yes.
All you have to do is push that, and then
that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. But it sends a Gmail.
Oh, I just copy the link. Make it blue and push the mine's the right button and click it, and it says copy, and I copy it. Then I go over to wherever I'm going to send it, push it, there it goes. That's easy.
Right. Yep. Right. I'm probably a bit behind. On my laptop, I don't have, for example, any of the stuff that I have on my phone, like Facebook Messenger and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's maybe what I should do.
It is different, phone or the laptop, the way you do it. It is different. So I mean, I get that, but it's easy. I'm glad that we all are using it now, and we can all get on here once and talk.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your interview with David Starr and Dan. Yeah. Davies and David Starr. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having a chat with them as well.
Great people.
And we. I mean, there's so much going on now. You've got the Fen and Julie with their 80 more things. They've got another one coming out soon. They've recorded their 4th guest. So I'm hoping to have a chat with them.
I love her. The podcast. Yeah. Great. It's really good.
Yep.
Just listen to Gypsy.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting because 80 more things is becoming 90, becoming 100 more things.
Yes, it sure is. And the closer we're getting to it, I mean, I just can't wait for the motion to be denied or whatever they're going to do, and then, Governor Evers, with Brendan, I'm just really, there's a lot of hope, I guess. Let's just say that there's a lot of hope.
Yeah. I don't get the impression that this, that the appeals court is going to be at all like the circuit court of,
I don't think so.
I think the fact that they remanded these 2 items back to Sukovich so that the appeals could come forward with the CD and the bones issues, that this could all come back with the ongoing appeal.
And I hope it goes. I hope she gets her hearing, which I really don't think they want to mess around anymore. But sending it back was saying get something done, and they're not. So
yes, I think once we get to the Court of Appeals, we're done with this low level corruption that's going on, whereby you've clearly got Angie Sukovich is a good friend of Ken Kratz.
Yeah.
I think they were even on the Crime Victims' Rights Board together.
Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, how they intertwine pretty much somewhere along the line. They do. I don't know if that's small town or if that's just Wisconsin.
Right. Okay. I'm going to say cheerio. Thanks for joining us.
Go get some sleep. Say hi to your wife for me.
Will do. Yes. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Catch you again soon. And thank you again, Linda.
Thank you, Paul.
Pleasure. Bye for now.
Bye.